They were the picture of modern love, a couple whose connection practically buzzed through the screen. Just months ago, Reggie and Ria were all over social media, hailed as the ultimate couple goals. Their moments on streams and at events painted this perfect image of a supportive, fun partnership. Fans weren't just watching their story, they were invested. But in the crazy world of internet fame, the brightest spotlights can throw the darkest shadows. The fairy tale suddenly and brutally ended, leaving their community split and everyone asking the same thing. How did it all go so wrong? To really get the heartbreak, you have to understand just how good things seemed. Reggie and Ria weren't just a couple, they were a brand, and the brand was happiness. Their story started like a lot of modern romances do, out in the open, where every little interaction can become content. They were constantly on each other's live streams, and their natural chemistry and playful banter quickly built them a dedicated following. Fans loved their dynamic. Reggie, the charismatic, rising streamer, and Ria, his supportive partner, who seemed to be his biggest cheerleader. Their public appearances just made this image stronger. When they showed up to the streamer prom, they looked like a total power couple. The photos from that night, full of cozy poses and matched energy, went viral, with fans calling them the new it couple. For a lot of people, they represented a new kind of relationship goal, where your private life and public persona could mix into this one beautiful shared story. Their connection felt real, and their support for each other seemed unshakable. They weren't just sharing their lives, they were sharing a love story, and their audience was hooked, believing they were seeing something that would last. It was this perfect picture that made the collapse so shocking and messy. But behind the curated posts and happy streams, the foundation was starting to crumble. Long before any public drama, there were little signs of trouble. Some eagle-eyed viewers noticed their dynamic felt a bit off, a kind of emotional distance that not even their on-screen chemistry could totally cover up. The constant pressure of keeping up a perfect public image while dealing with a private relationship was clearly taking a toll. It came out later that communication between them had gotten strained, and the trust that held them together was starting to wear thin. The real turning point, the thing that kicked off the beginning of the end, seems to have been a party. Details are still a bit murky, but social media posts and clips from right after suggest a major fight between them. After that night, things reportedly got worse, pushing them toward one last painful conversation. But the incident that would drag their private issues into the public spotlight was way more explosive than anyone saw coming. It was an allegation that hits right at the core of a streamer's entire career, the trust of their fans. The bombshell landed in a now infamous TikTok video. An allegation surfaced that Ria was promoting a Cash App scam on her Instagram story, a classic online grift where people are promised big returns for a small investment. For Reggie, this wasn't just a bad move, it was a deep betrayal. His whole career is built on the trust and support of his fans, the very people this scam was apparently targeting. The news blew up, and the online community immediately started taking sides. Reggie's response was quick and final. He ended the relationship. From his perspective, what she did was an unforgivable blow to his integrity. He later explained that, as a public couple, they reflect on each other. Her actions didn't just mess up her own image, they directly threatened his reputation and the community he'd worked so hard to build. He argued that he couldn't be with someone who would deceive their supporters, the people who make their world go round. He felt he had put her in a great position to succeed, and this was a betrayal of that trust. The fallout was instant and brutal. Ria was slammed with backlash from fans who felt completely let down. The public scandal turned their private heartbreak into a full-blown crisis. Their breakup was no longer a personal thing. It was a trending topic, getting picked apart in countless videos and comment sections. The couple goals dream had completely shattered, replaced by a messy public collapse centered on deception and broken trust. In the chaotic days that followed, both Reggie and Ria used their platforms to share their side of the story, but their accounts just showed how far apart they'd grown. Ria went live, saying she was sorry for how things ended and trying to deal with the intense hate she was getting. She talked about the pain of the split and how hard it was to handle public judgment during such a personal crisis. But her side of the story also hinted at a communication breakdown, as she claimed Reggie didn't talk to her directly before it all blew up online. Reggie responded to her stream, not to attack her, but to stand on his principles. He made it clear that his issue wasn't about trying to ruin her image, but a reaction to her ruining her own, and as a result, making him look bad. He stressed that he had worked from the ground up to build his career, and integrity was everything to him. In his view, the scam was a major violation of the trust he has with his audience. He also talked about the wasted opportunity, saying he had set her up in a great position to eat for a while. The public was completely divided. Many fans sided with Reggie, praising him for standing against dishonesty and protecting his community. Others felt for Ria, seeing her as a young woman who made a mistake and was now dealing with way too much hate, including death threats. The drama fueled endless debates, with supporters of each person analyzing every clip for proof. It was obvious the wounds were still raw, not just for the couple, but for the community that had been so deeply invested in their story. The story of Reggie and Ria is a wild example of how fast things can change when you're in the public eye. What do you guys think about the situation? Who do you think was in the right, or is it more complicated than that? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you appreciate breakdowns of stories shaping internet culture, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. As of late June 2025, Reggie and Ria are going their separate ways. Ria is still active online, trying to rebuild her reputation after the scandal. Reggie seems more reserved, focusing on his content and sometimes touching on the lingering questions about the breakup. He's been open about his heartbreak, even admitting he once thought she could be the one, which just makes the whole thing even more tragic. In the end, the story of Reggie and Ria is more than just internet drama. It's a huge cautionary tale for our time. It says a lot about the insane pressure on online relationships, where private lives are basically performed for an audience and every single flaw is put under a microscope. It's a lesson in how valuable trust is, how fast it can be destroyed, and the devastating fallout that comes after. The perfect image they once shared is gone, leaving behind a tough lesson about the real-world consequences of what you do online.